The conversation surrounding Meghan Markle's work rarely begins with curiosity. It almost never begins with neutrality. And it certainly does not begin with good faith. Instead, it begins where it always does, with a conclusion already written, and a search for numbers that can be bent to support it. What we are witnessing right now is not an honest evaluation of a television series. It is the recycling of a familiar media ritual. Isolate a statistic, strip it of context, inflate it with emotion, and sell it as proof of failure. The latest headlines claim that Meghan Markle has suffered a humiliating blow because her Netflix lifestyle series failed to crack the top 1,000 most-watched programs. The language is dramatic, sharp, and intentionally embarrassing. But drama is the point, humiliation is the product, and outrage is the currency. Before accepting that framing, it is worth slowing down and asking a far more basic question. What do these numbers actually mean, and who benefits from the way they are being presented? According to reports, the second season of With Love, Meghan attracted approximately 2 million views between July and December. This figure is now being framed as a collapse evidence that audiences have switched off, and that Meghan Markle herself has lost relevance. But 2 million people choosing to watch a calm, niche lifestyle series is not the disaster it's being sold as. It is, in fact, evidence of something far less sensational and far more threatening to critics: consistency. This is a show fronted by a woman the media has spent years insisting is universally disliked. And yet, millions of viewers still chose to watch. They did so quietly, without spectacle, without viral outrage, and without feeding the very outrage machine that thrives on chaos. That alone disrupts the narrative. Netflix is not a platform where success is measured by a single rigid ranking. It hosts tens of thousands of titles across every imaginable genre, language, and market. Being ranked outside the top 1,000 does not mean a show disappeared into oblivion. It means it performed as a mid-tier lifestyle offering in a catalogue dominated by crime thrillers, dating reality shows, action franchises, and binge-driven dramas designed to hook viewers with shock, suspense, and speed. Lifestyle content has never performed like blockbuster television, and it is not supposed to. It is not engineered for explosive opening weekends or viral cliffhangers. It is designed for repeat viewing, background watching, comfort consumption, and long-tail engagement. Netflix itself has repeatedly stated that not every show is meant to be a global smash. Some shows exist to serve specific audiences, and with Love, Meghan does exactly that. The comparison to the first season is another area where honesty quietly disappears. Yes, the debut season reportedly pulled higher numbers. That is not unusual. In fact, it is standard. First seasons benefit from curiosity clicks, media hype, novelty, and speculation. Second seasons reveal something far more valuable: who actually stayed. The viewers who return are not casual, they are intentional. A so-called 60% drop sounds catastrophic until you understand that this pattern occurs across nearly all streaming content, particularly non-scripted series. It happens with cooking shows, it happens with home renovation series, it happens with wellness programming and documentaries. But when it happens to Meghan Markle, it is framed not as an industry norm, but as a personal rejection. Then comes the predictable pivot to Suits. We are told, often smugly, that reruns of Suits outperform Meghan's lifestyle series. This is framed as an indictment of her current work, but in reality it undermines the argument entirely. The same woman critics claim cannot draw viewers is the very reason millions of people rediscovered and binge-watched a decade-old legal drama. Meghan Markle's presence helped turn Suits into one of the most streamed catalogue titles in Netflix history. If anything, the success of Suits proves her enduring appeal. It proves name recognition. It proves cultural memory. And it proves that audiences are still interested, just not necessarily in the way critics demand. Next, we are directed toward Rotten Tomatoes and IMDb scores, presented as final judgment. But these platforms are notorious for brigading, particularly when it comes to women, people of colour, and public figures caught in culture wars. Meghan Markle is one of the most targeted women online. A low audience score in that environment says very little about the quality of content and a great deal about organised hostility. The phrase "critics and audiences aligned" is especially misleading. Critics are not neutral observers when it comes to Meghan Markle. Many of the same outlets reviewing her work have spent years questioning her character, attacking her motives, and amplifying misinformation. Expecting objectivity from that ecosystem is unrealistic. What is rarely discussed is what, with love, Meghan actually is. It is not a scandal-driven reality show. It is not built on humiliation, conflict, or spectacle. It is gentle. It is domestic. It centers on food, hosting, wellness, and conversation. It reflects Meghan's actual interests rather than the caricature constructed by tabloids. In an industry addicted to chaos, that choice alone is radical. The claim that Netflix is now questioning its investment in the Sussexes is another recycled talking point. Netflix did not sign Harry and Meghan solely for view counts. They were signed for brand alignment, cultural reach, and long-term strategy. Their partnership has produced documentaries, scripted projects, and lifestyle programming that serve different audiences at different scales. Not every project is meant to dominate charts. Netflix understands this, even if tabloids pretend not to. There is also a deeper discomfort at play, one that rarely gets named. Meghan Markle refuses to perform pain for entertainment. She refuses to weaponize trauma. She refuses to attack her in-laws repeatedly or generate outrage for clicks. That restraint frustrates a media ecosystem that profited enormously from her suffering. So, instead, restraint is reframed as failure. Softness is reframed as weakness. Calm is reframed as irrelevance. Prince Harry's role in this narrative is conveniently sidelined. His work with Invictus, veterans and mental health has never been about viral success. Together, Harry and Meghan have consistently chosen purpose over performance. That does not always translate into explosive ratings, but it does translate into longevity. The obsession with ranking Meghan's show against titles released more than a decade ago or against high-octane dramas is deliberately absurd. Comparing a modern lifestyle series to a globally beloved period drama with built-in nostalgia is not analysis. It is agenda. What this entire story really reveals is desperation. Desperation to declare the Sussexes finished. They have been predicting their downfall since the moment Harry and Meghan stepped away from royal duties. Every project is framed as a last chance. Every metric is cherry-picked. Every outcome is spun as humiliation. And yet they are still here, still working, still partnering with major platforms, still setting their own terms, still refusing to disappear. Meghan Markle does not need to dominate Netflix rankings to be successful. She has already succeeded in something far more threatening to her critics. She built a life, a family, and a career outside an institution and media system that expected her to fail. With love, Meghan is not a flop. It is a quiet act of defiance. A woman choosing softness in a world that demanded she be broken. A show that does not scream for attention, but invites viewers in. Numbers will always be used against her because numbers feel objective. But the narrative behind them never is. And the truth remains simple. If Meghan Markle truly had no audience, the media would stop talking about her. They would stop tracking her rankings. They would stop comparing, mocking, and obsessing. They have not, because relevance does not always look like virality. Sometimes it looks like endurance.